Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me well and see me well. Please let me know if my audio is good. You are have problem streaming. Now the messages here start. Let me see if I can manage. You can hear me well, right? Those of you who are here with me on YouTube. Hi, Natalie, Guy, all of you, David, Richard, nice to see you, Mark, Warren. Hey, Jeff, Hamad, nice to see you. Very good to have you guys here. I just need that you confirm if you can hear me well, loud, no noise. Otherwise, I fix whatever I need to fix here. Loud and clear, thank you. Wonderful, wonderful. We are going to have a nice chat about out-of-body experience. And I'm going to tell you that I have thought of our discussion here the whole night as if I was already in contact and participating with others and working with energy outside the body. It was super nice. That's why I'm very excited to be here. For those of you who are here for the first time, I am Nancy Trivelato. Thank you for joining. Here in this channel, we are going to discuss about multidimensional life. Life is not physical. Life is composed of many dimensions, many layers, many levels of reality. We are connecting with all of those different levels the whole time, connecting, and we are part of. But most of the times, we feel ourselves as only physical beings. The out of body experience, which is one of the subjects that I dedicate to study a lot, is the best, most powerful tool to allow us to understand life. Because, as I said, life is multidimensional. And there are many different phenomena, tools, feelings, insights we can have that points us to this reality, but none of them as effective, as complete, and as powerful as the out-of-body experience. That's why I dedicate so much to research the out-of-body experience and finding mechanisms to teach the out-of-body experience because it is complex. Those of you who have already dedicated time and effort and studied and applied techniques to leave the body consciously, you know that sometimes we may have one experience that came easily, but then the other times not necessarily it happens. Most of the time it doesn't. It's challenging because there are too many variables. And I am here to answer your questions in relation to that. Because if there were one technique that I could teach you and tell you, do A, B, C, and this sequence, and everything will be working perfectly there, it would be nice. But such an information does not exist. Okay? I'm going to ask you to give me just a second. I want to start by discussing with you the out of body experience as a tool, not an end. It is a means. It is a tool. It's a natural attribute that we have, meaning being aware outside of this physical body, being aware beyond the physical body. And this is what I'm going to discuss about. Just to make an introduction and then I go to your questions. I need you to give me a moment. There is something that is hurting my eyes here. I'm going to adjust and I'll be back in 30 seconds. Thank you for waiting for your kindness. And as I said, some of the things that came to my mind for us to discuss here today in terms of OBE, out of body experience, as a tool, and that is a very, very powerful tool. There are a few things that, just from the top of my head, I would like to mention in relation to what the out of body experience can be applied for, it's used for. The number one thing is to reunite you with your real self, with the spirit world, with the reality, the world, the realm that you came from. This body is temporary. All of us, we know it, but we do not know how to handle this in practice in physical life. That is a challenge. One of the challenges that we have to learn how to deal. The out of body experience helps us to reunite with our essence. It's not reuniting with someone, it's reuniting with that reality. When we sense we are outside the body, probably you have already had that. If you had an out of body experience, very lucid. When you are in an out of body experience with a certain degree of lucidity, it's almost as if you are part of that environment in such a natural way that it gives you a deep sense of peace. That's why sometimes, and the same happens sometimes in the near-death experience, that's why some people think, I'm not going to go back, I would like to stay here. Natural when it's so peaceful there. There is something we have to learn here. And if you have an out-of-body experience, you will return. There are very different evidences and explanations for that. I do not want to go into technical explanations here. If you want to learn everything about the mechanism of the out-of-body experience, everything about what happens outside the body, what you can do to have greater chances of detaching from your body, to have greater chances of knowing what you are doing when you are out there and remembering more, I recommend you take the Consciousness Development Program. This is IAC, International Academy of Consciousness Program. And I have created that together with Wagner Allegretti. So I know very well what's in there, but I have created it for IAC. So that's why I say, if you want to go very deep, that's what I recommend. Highly recommend, highly. It is something that will change the way you see the out of body experience, your life here in the physical world, plus life in between lives, how you think about it. So that is a very powerful tool. I'm putting a link over there to you. I hope the link goes live to you so you can click on it. I don't think so. I'm going to place it again just because there is a bright November special. If you are in my mailing list, you will know about it because I am going to send information to those who are in my email community. I want to privilege them with some exclusive offers. And here, I am sharing this with you while we are here in this live talk. Now, I hope it goes in a clickable way now. I'm discovering the tool here. Today I am by myself, not with the team that usually helps me in our live talk. Now, there is another thing that the out-of-body experience can do for you like nothing else, which is to reset, reboot your energy awareness. Because sometimes we are here in this life kind of dormant, not aware that there is something beyond interacting with us the whole time, like an invisible reality, but that is present the whole time. When you have an out of body experience, the sensations you have, the observations, even if it was not the most lucid out of body experience, even if it was half the scale, it reset your senses of energy. It gives you an almost like a feeling that there is some energetic aspects to certain situations of life. That's why so many people we will understand when there is an energetic component in some situations, even though they do not necessarily remember they have or have had out of body experiences. And because of it, it lets us to expand our horizons, seeing life in a different way. The out of body experience is not going to make someone rich just by leaving the body, but can give us so many ideas, many inventions were thought of outside the body, were discovered outside the body. There is a whole list of cases, but this is what it is a good tool for. And many times there are people who come to me or to us at the IAC, International Academy of Consciousness, asking, how can I know somebody I love who passed away is well? How can I meet this person? So this is a great tool to find some sort of reconciliation inside of yourself when you know you have to meet somebody, see somebody, talk to somebody. And the more control we have of the out of body experience, the more we can do it. So if that's a goal you have, that is your tool. Sometimes I see some people that they kind of tell, okay, I'm going to give you a message from that person you are trying to connect with. Is it possible to happen? Absolutely, yes. Mediumship or channeling is part of our lives in different degrees, different types of channeling or mediumship, different characteristics, but that is part of our life. But in my experience, 95% of the cases that I saw this, they were not real. And then you see, especially when it's like a TV show, it's not the proper environment to get the right answer, to connect. So you do it by yourself. You see it with your eyes. You learn through your own energy and experience. It's a first-hand experience. And when you are outside the body, you gain self-knowledge because you will see that you are not physical only. You know this, I know this, but when you and I, we have an out-of-body experience, then it's no longer just a theory, it becomes a fact that can be stronger than what you see and what you sense here in the physical world. And Warren here is comment with us. Nikola Tesla was a lucid dreamer, yes. And many different inventions were done using this capacity of connecting with other realms. Now, your self-knowledge, as I was saying, also gives us or gives you the possibility when you are outside the body of finding information about your past lives. You can have a past life recollection being inside the body, but it's so much harder and so much more prone to interferences, fantasies, interference of your brain when you are outside the body. Think of it. You are there, lucid, present, see you. That's who you are, or much closer to who you are. But you are not having to deal with this transducer here, the brain, the decoder. Because right now, you and I, we are manifesting in another dimension, but we have to bring our ideas here to here. You are hearing what I'm saying and you are processing it in your brain, and that's going to cause an effect in your thoughts. So this physical body only adds more noise to this communication or this connection of you here in the physical body with your essence. And then you can see by yourself what happens in between lives. That is super important. You can identify personal characteristics of yours, like your personality, aspects of your personality or how you feel about life. You will get to know them so much better if you are in an out-of-body experience. Why? Because you are not going to be acting using your brain. Your brain is over there in your bed in delta waves or theta waves sometimes, and you are not interfering with your ideas here, your framework, your conditionings, your cultural conditionings. So you have much better chances out there. You can overcome fears because, guys, I'll tell you, I almost would stand up here and show you when you are in an out of body experience and you see some a reality, an environment, you interact with people. It's you controlling everything. It's your lucidity allowing it to happen. It's your energetic control, your focused mind that direct what you do in that situation. And this gives such a strong feeling of confidence on yourself. And fears, they start little by little, reducing, reducing, and reducing, because in the out of body experience, you are like a superhero. Many of these characteristics we see in superheroes, yes, they happen outside the body. So that is so important to one person. Another thing, when you are in a very conscious astral projection, you can help others. You can help people who are not in a good condition. You can work another thing on de-intruding. De-intruding means removing sometimes bad energies or entities that are or may be around you or someone else. When you are outside the body, you can see that. It's not only I have a feeling, I suppose. No, you can see it and you can act with energy to take control of that. That is very important. And so many things, but bottom line, you get to experience firsthand what? Multidimensional life. Evidencing for yourself your multidimensional nature. And all of this gives us such a sense of internal peace. You get a focused mind. You can better decide what you want to do simply because everything gets more aligned. So that is a wonderful experience. I know you are here because you want to dive into the out of body experience. That's our proposal today. But I wanted to bring this topic here just to mention the out of body experience is not an end in itself, it is a means. There is so much more to the out of body experience than just it was an adventure. Of course, it is an adventure, and it is an adventure that teaches you a lot about life, about yourself, about others, of course. But it can play a much bigger role in your life. That was the idea I wanted to mention to all of you. And I would love to discuss techniques, whatever you want me to discuss, and go deep with you into that. As I am by myself today, I'll be following here your questions. Whatever you place there will appear here for me, hopefully. And then I can bring this to the screen and we can discuss together what are the topics that you would like to. And one thing that I believe is a very important information, a very important point I want to make is everybody can have conscious out-of-body experiences. Some people will see that there are few points to adjust, few aspects to adjust for them to have greater success in their out-of-body experience. Others, they have to adjust and work on more aspects, but mostly, the more experience you have, the less afraid you are. In all senses, including of leaving the body. This becomes like really natural thing in life. And I love showing to each person how they can, by themselves, identify what's the best technique for them. And for this, we need to explain how techniques work. But I have some videos here about this. And if you want to go deep into this, I already mentioned, I recommend the Consciousness Development Program, which now is on a special Bright November. Not Bright Friday, oh goodness, not Black Friday, not Black November, Bright November. I have just created 2 new courses. They are now available. I'm going to be launching them next week. If you are part of the community of email, my mailing list, you will receive information, okay, about these opportunities that will be available only there. So let me bring your questions here. Okay. Warren, nice to have you here with your questions. Are you familiar with the Mahi CCO technique? No, not with this name, with these words. If I understood them, I could discuss, but not familiar with these words, no. Can you reach out of body experience during meditation? Yes, and it's very common because many times in the meditation, the person not only relax the body, focus the mind, allow the energies to get loosened, but the person, the meditator, is not expecting the OBE to happen. So it becomes easier than when there is a lot of expectations. Because when you do a technique, you adjust all of the different details, but you are waiting for a technique to leave the body. So you do all of the procedures and you are waiting for the OBE to happen. And in meditation, there is no, the anxiety, anticipation is not there. Absolutely. Thank you for the question. It was very nice. Hi, Scott. So nice to see you. In an OBE, how do we go deeper or see others? Mine seem to be mostly just myself. I have a tip on that, Scott. That is, try to connect with your spiritual mentors, your spirit guides. And when you are outside the body, if you connect with them, you are more in interaction with the environment and you can see other people. Another thing I would do in a condition like this, if you are not close to your body, if you are a little farther from your body, but it's only you, there are 2 other things you can do. That is, 1, do velo, with the purpose of making your energies subtler so that you go to a different dimension, to a subtler dimension, and you can interact with an environment. Second thing that you can try, so you can try one and the other, or different days, try a different one, is to emit energy. Send out energy. It doesn't have to be a very intense emission. It doesn't have to be impactful pulses. It can be something that is more like an expansion of your energy. You connecting with the non-physical environment that you are in. Because sometimes, let me explain something to all of you guys. Sometimes we may be in a situation in which we are, or you would be in a situation where you are there, conscious, but your focus of mind. Think of this. In the out-of-body experience, everything is about your awareness, which I'm going to call here your mind, your awareness, including your awareness, your decision, your clarity of thought. So everything is that in the out-of-body experience, plus your capacity to handle energy. But in the out-of-body, as it's here as well, but in the out-of-body experience is more evidenced, it is stronger. When you are in an out-of-body experience, you will always be guiding your energy, how your energy acts and reacts. So because of this, when you are there, use your mind and think, I want to connect more with the environment and less with my own thoughts. Because sometimes we are in a place and we are with the mental chattering, and that interferes. Try to educate your mind in a way that you say, let me see what's in here. And if you see anything, what is it that you see there? You see an object, for example. If you see any object, you can absolutely focus on that in a way that you interact, you become that object, you feel that your energy will start kind of gravitate around more the environment, the different non-physical objects that you may see there. And this increases your rapport, because in this case, we are talking about rapport with the non-physical environment, non-physical plane you are in at that moment. So it depends on the condition of your lucidity, the condition of your astral body, how dense it is, and how it is interacting with the environment, the technique that you will apply. So I gave you a few options, and I suggest that you keep trying them. Even if they don't work initially, you will be able to see how they operate and to adjust at the moment when needed which one will work best. Okay? So far, so good. Yes. I'm going to try. You guys, give me just a moment. My apologies. Okay. So, next question. I was waiting. No, it's on me today to bring the questions here. Hamad, how are you doing, Hamad? What if my previous life karma does not qualify me to have an out of body experience? This does not exist. No. It would be the same of saying my karma does not allow me to think. Well, there could be a situation in which you had a problem. But even if you had a mental problem, something is going on in your mind. Something is going on in our mind constantly. The same with the out of body experience. You most definitely can have conscious out of body experience. The challenge, and now comes the correlation with what you are saying, which is not so straightforward, the same. But then what happens is that sometimes we may have traumas from past lives that makes it more difficult for us to be able to detach from the body. We have been persecuted so many times only because we would mention we had an information being told to us by a spirit. Can you imagine if we would say, I can be conscious outside my body and see you out, and we were toast? Even nowadays, in some environments, it may be the case. So, if that would be a karma, in a way, because it's a consequence, it's something that is on us. I mean, on us in terms of our bodies, of our structure, our mind in a way. But not karma in a sense that I did something wrong and I'm being stopped from detaching from the body. Never ever. Another thing that correlates, sometimes you may have energy blocks, which is what? A result of how you handle your energy, what is gravitating around, not because there's something wrong. I need to emphasize that. Not necessarily. Most of the time, no. Energy blocks doesn't have much to do with a person's ethics. Because when we think of karma, and I cannot know what's in your mind right now, so I'm discussing what is the overall concept. But usually, when we talk about karma, we have an idea as if something is, there is a force that is putting us down, or that is teaching us something like a lesson or a punishment. And never ever. if there is something that is in terms of energy blocks, it is not related to ethics, because there are people that they are not so ethical, but they couldn't care less. In their minds, they have no remorse. And you may check their energy, there are no blockages. But one day they will have remorse. One day they will have pain, and one day the blockage comes and we will start interfering. All of us, we have different aspects to our energy, very deeply related to our chakras. So, you see what you are saying, we could find correlations and point to different aspects. And I want to bring one last one. What if there are entities, presences, spiritual presences, connected, related to you, your workplace, your environment, something that happened in your childhood, whatever. It may be related to you directly or to experiences you have had. What if they are there gravitating and they make it more difficult for you? So, is it karma? If we call karma a situation that is there for a reason, yes, but karma in a sense that you cannot leave the body because for a reason you were not allowed, you are not allowed. No, in that sense, not at all, I guarantee you. So you need only to find what is creating the obstacle, where the difficulty is in the whole process of detaching from the body, which is huge, many different phases, many different aspects. But in this whole process, where do you normally get stuck? If we investigate, it's a matter of investigation. But to investigate, we need to have what? Knowledge, the facts, the information. Without information, we guess, we don't investigation. That's why I recommend so much, and I'm going to repeat once again, because if you are here, I mean all of you, you are interested in the out-of-body experience. I recommend strongly you get to know the consciousness development program now with 45% off only until the end of this month. But I recommend because all of these different phases and aspects will become clear. Once you have the information, you start investigating where you are, what you are good at to leave the body. Why do you want to leave the body? There's something there. In which sense that is going to be a great tool for you. So when you put all of that together and you start finding the right strategy, everything happens. So this is key here. This is key because there is no way you would be denied the capacity to leave the body. So this is what I strongly invite you to do. Become a multidimensional detective. And I like to say, those who are with me here and those who are with me in my community, the goal is to become a multidimensional detective. Why? Because if you are investigating something and you are investigating the multidimensional reality, you are analyzing the aspects of this life, other lives, energetic aspects, non-physical, spiritual aspects, everything related, looking for leads, looking for clues, looking for evidence that will then at some point show why things are the way they are, why they are happening the way they are happening, and what you can do to adjust that. That's it. Lucidity, multidimensional lucidity. All of us, we can reach that. So, Hamad, let's go. Multidimensional detective. Go there, find the tools that you have. You, not the tools that, other people would say. What in you can work as a good tool for you to have the out of body experience. That's what you can and should find out. Jeff. Hello, Jeff. Nice to see you here. What's the relationship between OBE and dreams? Indirect relationship. Just a second, excuse me. It's an indirect relationship. And in a sense that there is a correlation that is a negative correlation. If you are dreaming, you are not being, you are not in an astral projection conscious. Because dreams are something that happen in our subjective mind. When we are aligned with our brain, aligned with our bodies, our brain is creating images, usually in the REM phase of sleep, so rapid eye movements, we are dreaming lots of images. That is a brain process. When we are in this condition, usually we are aligned and not in an out-of-body experience. But you can go through this experience in a lucid way. Have you ever done that? Have you ever had this experience that you can see your brain dreaming, but you are not going for that because you are lucid? You are thinking, wow, look how my brain is processing all of those images and thoughts and feelings that I had during the day. What I'm trying to say is, you are not the brain. Usually, the brain sleeps and dreams, and we turn our lucidity off and we only live this experience. Now, when we are in an out of body experience, meaning you are not aligned with your body, out there, sometimes you dream as well. What does it mean? You are out, but you are not seeing the reality. You are just experiencing something that is in your mind. So it doesn't matter where you are. If you are floating above your body, if you are in your living room, if you went to your grandmother's house, it doesn't matter. You are only experiencing your own thoughts. We could call that a dream while the person is outside the body. There is a big difference when the focus of one's mind is into the external reality, but with lucidity. In a way, it's almost like if you are going somewhere, you have to pay attention to your directions, what you are going to do into that place. I mean, here in the physical world. So you are going to a meeting or to a convention. You need to know all of the details so that you get there. And you need to pay attention to the traffic or what transportation you will get. But outside the body, we don't do that. We just exist there. And then our minds do not focus on what's going on. That's what we need to shift. Then we reduce the action of dreaming, which means more of our thoughts and images and fantasies. It's called oniric dreams. It's images that are dream-like images that they may happen when we are outside the body. That's why it's confusing. Some people do not know how to distinguish which components of the experience were created by one's mind and which components were real. And without information, most people get it wrong because it's not so straightforward. We tend to analyze that based on reality here. It doesn't work in the same way. Reality in the spirit world, in the non-physical world, follows completely different rules. So we need to understand that to analyze the information. But you imagine someone is outside the body, let's say floating above the body. So it's out, completely out. And in their mind, they're only dreams. If we reduce those and the person, the projector, becomes more conscious of what's going on at that moment, of the environment, then the dream-like images will fade away and all of a sudden, where am I? Oh, I am floating above my body. So it's not a matter, I would like to emphasize that. Out of body experience is not a matter of detaching from the body only. It's a matter of detaching and being conscious of the reality you are in, being conscious of the non-physical world, being conscious of the place where you are and what's going on. Because detaching from the body, it happens to everyone at some point during the night in some phases of sleep. That is not the difficult thing. The difficult thing is to connect with the world that is non-physical, with that specific reality that we are conditioned not to connect to, because we are conditioned to pay attention only to this physical world, physical environment, material world. Therefore, this is what is most important in relation to those things. But you see, if we put in a scale, and that is very well explained in the consciousness development program, if you put in a scale, you will see that in one side of the scale is regular dreams, in the other side, conscious, completely conscious out of body experience. But there are so many things here in between to confuse us. And the more they are in the middle, the harder it is for us to make sense of what phenomenon that is. That's why the more information one has, the better. But that is the point, that is what matters. Okay? I am going to place again here the link, just because I know there are some people arriving now, because there is a special for those of you who are here with me. So I'm placing that the link. I hope you got important information to you there, Jeff. Do you? I hope it's useful. And try and identify what are the elements that evidence when it's a dream and when it's an out-of-body experience. When it's a lucid dream, that's in the middle of the scale-ish. And that's why it sometimes becomes harder to identify what's an out-of-body experience, what's a lucid dream. So many people come to me and say, well, I had a lucid dream. When they describe it, say, this is not a dream. And vice versa. But that's it. That's why we need to study a lot to get to understand the phenomena and experience a lot, right? Wonderful. Oh, hello, Mahi. Nice to see you here. You have a question in two parts. Thank you for mentioning. I have a very busy life, and I feel like I will never have the time to properly practice for real OBEs. I get the feeling. The only ones I have had were spontaneous in the middle of the night and very poor. I felt the disconnection, walked a bit on my house, and went back to my body. It was very much different from a dream, but the memory of it seems like a dream. How can I know if this was a real OBE? If those were to happen again, what should I do to increase my lucidity and explore more? Excellent question. How can you know that those were not a dream, were a real OBE? You have, oh, I'm sorry. You will know by identifying some elements there that can only be present if it is an OBE. How can I convey to you what are the elements? Because there are many. Sometimes when someone tells me their experience, I say, this wouldn't happen in a dream. That is an OBE. But sometimes there are not enough evidences. I assume you have taken the CDP, right, Mahi? Because there are many factors. I have one video here in my channel that is the difference between lucid dreams and out-of-body experience. Over there, I mention a few of these points that we can analyze, but at the end of the day is finding evidences. Some things we do not do in a dream, do not happen in a dream. Because if you are in a dream, for example, and you are worried, if you are in an experience, I'm going to change my words. If you are in an experience and you are struggling to tie your shoes because you need to go out, that is most probably not an out-of-body experience. Because if you were really trying to tie your shoes, you wouldn't be able to touch it. You would notice something is wrong with that action you are trying to take. Even the way you see your environment. How did you see your house? Did you see your house exactly as it looks like in the physical dimension? If it was exactly, less probable that it was an out-of-body experience. But if you saw it as if it was bigger, or like with different lights, different shades, an illumination that has nothing to do with the illumination of your house, either during the day or at the night time. So if there are elements that do not match that physical reality when you see it with your physical eyes, most probably it tends more to be an out-of-body experience. But that is the key, because I said, what is in the middle? It's a little bit hard. Now, what can you do if you are in an experience like this and you want to become more lucid? That is very, very good question. I have had experiences in which I worked on my lucidity to increase it. And what I did in some of these situations, I had different experience in which I used different methods. And you have to trust your intuition at the moment, because it depends on how your energies are at that moment. But you can try and do invaluable, so your astral body becomes subtler, and you can more easily identify how to use your energy, how to handle your energy there. Or you can release your energy, like expand your energies. Like, how would I say? Sometimes the astral body is heavy because there would be too much energies of the silver cord there, of the energy body, of our chakras. This is a kind of a complex reality there when we want to be technical, but to be just direct to the point, let's say your silver cord is bringing too much energy there to your astral body. Your astral body sometimes is heavier, like in weight. Not talking in terms of feelings or negative, no, talking real weight, if I can put it this way. So what would you do? You can velo, always, you can try, but you can also try to release your energies, expand. Trust yourself, because, guys, I'm going to say to all of you, working with energies, manipulating, operating with your energies when you are in an out-of-body experience is 10 times or even more, 100 times. It's infinitely easier than it is when we are in our physical bodies. Because when we are in the physical body, energy is a subtler reality of this multidimensional life we are in. But when you are in the astral body, energy, this energetic component of life that I'm talking about, that creates your silver cord, is denser than your astral body. That's why it's easy to do. Some things I have already tried, some people tried. For me, it didn't work so well, but I have heard of people that they had results. What is like you emit energy to your own frontal chakra. I know you know how to do it well because we were in the boot camp together. So you emit energy to your frontal chakra out there in an out-of-body experience. But you have to program yourself, because at the moment that you are there, for example, in your living room, not necessarily these ideas will come to your mind. So you have to think about it, which is what we are doing here. I'm going to think about it. When it happens, I'll do it. When it happens, I'll become aware. Eventually, when you saturate your mind with this idea, you will think of it at the moment. There is another thing that you can do to become more conscious at that moment. Give me just a moment. I want to bring the third part of your question here. What should I do to increase my lucidity and explore more? Well, and the other thing that I believe in your case you could do is use a target, a mental target, like a target place, a target idea, saying, whenever I have a chance and I am outside my body, I want to see that tree that is in that very beautiful valley that I have been once when I was a kid. And I can remember each leaf of that tree almost. I'm giving you an example. Or I want to see sunset in Japan, whatever. You do that because then your mind focused on an objective, and this can also help. It's very important to do this knowing you are a little bit more lucid, otherwise you start dreaming of that. But you will know if it was a dream. If it works exactly as you expected, most probably a dream. If it is strange, things were there you didn't expect, it's more probable it is an out-of-body experience. It's usually the other way around of what people would assume. Good, excellent. And then I have Mark. Hi, Mark. Crown chakra is the last chakra in 3D, and the eighth chakra, soul chakra, is the gateway to higher. Is it important to clear blockages or have at least them somewhat open to aid our efforts having an OBE? It is, Mark, but chakra is something that I have been investigating, is not experiencing, is investigating directly for now almost 29 years. And it is not so easy to distinguish what is the action of one chakra and another. Because if you try, for example, to activate this chakra a lot, to have OBEs, but you have not necessarily only blockage, but sometimes contamination is blockage, excessive energy in some chakra, and maybe in another it's too flexible, you lose energy through that chakra. This unbalance may interfere equally in your out-of-body experience. So what we need for the out-of-body experience is a healthy energy body, meaning all of our hundreds of chakras as healthy as possible. The technique I recommend for that, those of you who are here with me for some time, you know that there is a technique that I have researched deeply and created a method to apply that with higher results, is Velo, V-E-L-O, because Velo will adjust all chakras and will increase tremendously the success rate in out-of-body experiences. But there is another aspect here that I want to bring, that is when you recall your projection, when you are lucid, you have had a projection, that information comes through the crown chakra. So if the crown chakra is completely obstructed, as in the case of some people, it's not obstructed, but it's too open. And then it's like there are 100 voices in their mind at once. I'm not saying they are hearing voices, but the thinking process is too busy. Then sometimes there is a relation with this chakra, and in many cases it will make it more difficult to be lucid and to remember. So chakras, they have a specific function in different phases of the out-of-body experience. But to say that there is one that you regulate and that one only will make a difference, no, all of them, they have to be well regulated as much as possible. Not necessarily perfect, but some things need to be adjusted. Otherwise, the OBE starts and doesn't go ahead. Okay, which is a situation that many of us face sometimes. Okay, Mark, I hope I could explain well my understanding and my knowledge about this. And Warren is here with us. Hi, Warren. Nice to see you back here. Do you think it is possible for the astral and physical body to be active simultaneously and witness both worlds at the same time? In some cases, yes. Because especially if the physical body is very relaxed, it's possible for the astral body to detach, but it would be for a short period of time if both are active. Some people, for example, they have experienced out-of-body experiences 2 seconds, 3 seconds while they are walking, but it's a mechanical walking. And then for some reason it predisposed, they see themselves from up there and come back. So that is one type of out-of-body experience. So it is possible. However, most of the time when this happens, what is going on is remote viewing. It allows this to happen. Or, as I said, a situation in which briefly you go out and come back. But otherwise, most of the time, one must be inactive for the other to be active for a reason. Okay? There is a logical, physical, physiological explanation. Because our chakras, our energies connecting both bodies, when one acts, it interferes with the other and vice versa. So this can be done for a short period of time, but not for a long period of time. That's why sometimes if our body is not comfortable, if your body is not comfortable there in bed, for example, you are asleep in a bed position, it starts aching, it brings you back to your body. Why? Because at the moment that one body became more active, necessarily the connection, the silver cord, will retract and bring the astral body back here. So there are many different phenomena that can happen revolving around this condition of the level of alignment of the bodies plus level of lucidity of the individual, of the consciousness. Okay? Thank you. It was an interesting point for us to discuss here. Thank you very much. Richard is saying thank you, was helpful, and Scott, thank you guys for the feedback. And I have Jean-Marc. Hi, Jean-Marc. It's been some time I didn't see you. Thank you for joining here our live talk. Have you already planned dates for an internship at the IEC Consciousness? Yes, around March. We are going to do it mid-April. I was working yesterday on putting together all of the details to send out information. Okay, Jean-Marc? But it's going to be April around between 15th and 20th, something like that. I think there are some holidays in that week. So we are going to use that week of the holidays because it's easier for many people to take fewer days off work. And then we are going to be there in a very nice event, which will involve the out-of-body experience, but will go beyond the out-of-body experience. I hope I can see you there, Jean-Marc. It's going to be lovely. I will definitely be there. Vinit. Hi, Vinit. Sometime I don't see you as well. How can I stay longer in OBE? I get quickly back in my body. You see, we have discussed about so many complex topics. This is so common to happen and one of the most difficult things to adjust because there are different things that make one come back to the body. One is just a physiological reaction. When we are in an out-of-body experience, we are in a deeper level of relaxation as compared to a regular sleep. It's deeper. We have to be very deeply relaxed so that the silver cord stretch and we can go out. Because of it, sometimes in a short period of time, the body starts to react just because it's like, okay, I'm done, let me move. So someone who has a very agitated sleep naturally, or who would not be able to handle that level of relaxation, could be prone of returning sooner. Or someone who would have expectations on what happens during an out-of-body experience, during their out-of-body experience. Then there is some anxiety. When you have these out-of-body experiences that you are mentioning, are you lucid that you are in the OBE at that moment? Vinit. Because if you are, let me assume you are going to say yes, you are lucid. If you are, you may be unconsciously creating some level of anticipation. What am I going to do now? Okay, I'm out. Oh, this is a killer for the out-of-body experience. It's a killer because that puts attention in one thing. I'm out of my body because I have a body. My body is there now in my bed and I am here. I projected from my body. This brings your attention to your body. Find ways to stay out there in your OBE without connecting with the idea of your body. Don't think of it. Don't think of the breathing, but I know that's not the case here. But I'm just bringing this to all of those who are watching us now, don't think of the breathing, don't think of your body is there in your bedroom, and then, oh, when I come back to my body, I'm going to write this. In some projections, we do have this idea, oh, I'm going to pay attention to this, so I write down the information when I come back. But the focus of the mind, the focus of the awareness, lucidity, is on what's going on there rather than what I'm going to do when I'm back. So I'm giving you these tips because usually these factors interfere. See which of them may be interfering. Also, another thing that you can do, like a radical measure, but we have to try different things because we do not know exactly amongst the hundreds of variables that participate in an OBE, which one may be interfering. But one thing you can try and do is do the out-of-body experience in a different position. I do not know if you detach from your body consciously or if it just happens spontaneously. If you detach consciously, it's easier what I'm going to say. Because some people, when they try and leave the body, for example, reclined, they get a very comfortable armchair at their homes or something that they can be in a different position, in a position that they are more active rather than in that very same state as the OBE normally happens. It may help them maintain lucidity and stay there for longer, especially because in this case, by sitting in a recliner, if the person snores too much, I do not know if that's the case, sometimes the snoring brings us back because you are conscious, you are sensing the energies. If the snoring is too heavy, because snoring is not a problem. You can be outside the body with the snoring. But if the snoring is too heavy and make your body jolt, for example, you will come back because that reaction will happen. As if there were a noise in the room, it would bring you back. So that ties very well with the question that I just answered right before about physical body and astral body and how one interfere with the other. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. Juliet, hi. I'm not sure I've seen you here before, Juliet. If it's your first time, be very welcome. Very nice to have you here. What does your astral body look like if you see yourself? Good question and not so straightforward answer. I had an experience but was unable to reach my hand through the wall. A masculine energy then put their hands on my waist to help me fly. Look, there are two things here in your question. One of them is, how can you see your body, or how do you see your body? It depends on the type of projection you are having. Most people, so let's say 95, 98% of the times, almost the total of one's experience, what happens is you would see yourself as you recognize your image here. So if you normally see yourself as wearing jeans and a t-shirt and relaxed, that is most probably how you see yourself. If you are an astral projector, that you have many experiences, so you are so used to the idea of being out of your body, you may also see yourself like with your PJs. Or some people, they detach from the body and they see themselves naked. I do not know if ever happened to one of you guys there. And then everything was okay until you realize, oh, naked. And then we get embarrassed. It changes our energies and we block the experience. The appearance is not important, but we do show our images in certain ways, and that comes automatically, spontaneously, based on how we see ourselves. Could someone at a specific out-of-body experience see themselves with a completely different image? It can happen. This is not the norm, and in most cases, it will never happen to a given projector. But if you have a past life recollection while you are projected, you may remember of that life so strongly that then you you form the image, the visual that you had at that lifetime here or there in your out-of-body experience as your appearance, but that is temporary. It's just in that moment of the strong connection, and that's it. You come back to this body, you look in the mirror, we are super conditioned that we are this one, which is a problem, right? We see ourselves as this body look like. We see ourselves as this body makes us feel. And that is complex, because there are so many different angles to it. We are not the body. You know it, I know it. How can we see ourselves independent of the body, but still be attentive of the body, take care of the body as a tool, not as a definition of who we are. Take care of your body as a tool that you use in this lifetime, not as a definition of who you are. This is the key to live a good, healthy, multidimensional life. So in this case, that is what one has to pay attention to. So Juliet, when you sensed someone like grabbing your waist and helping you to go through the wall or something like this you described, usually those are like spirit mentors, spirit guides, to say someone trying to help you achieve something that will be positive to you when you are outside your body. Help you go further, help you learn, help you become aware of some aspect. Because there are cases in which, actually, most cases, that's why the out-of-body experience is a complex phenomenon. Most cases, we interact with some of these spiritual presences without seeing them. So you know there's someone there, you almost can hear them, but it's not hearing with your non-physical hearing. It's more like you get the idea, it's like telepathic, but usually we don't see these spirits who are subtler than we are. But you know there's someone there. You know it was a male's hand because that spirit presented himself, and I'm going to say himself in this case, as a male figure. In the same way, you probably are presenting yourself with the appearance you have now, a female figure, I assume, right? So this is the idea here. Can I still feel their hands and their energy like it happened in the physical world? When this happens in the astral dimension and we are lucid, let's say you were lucid, you perceived that vividly, that is as clear, as tangible as an action in the physical world. It's very important to understand this, because in that out-of-body experience, everything that was going on and you were in contact with was a reality happening in the same dimension, in the same frequency level that your astral body were. So yes, and you can remember of that so vividly. Well, if somebody were touching me here in the physical world, it would be the same feeling. Now, the point here is you felt, and I'm going just to expand even more the point instead of making it, here's the answer and it's only this. I want to bring more information about that. Because sometimes one individual, I don't think based on your description this is what happened, but I want to explain here to others who are watching us with this explanation about the actual experience outside the body. Sometimes one can be so close to the physical body that an entity and a spirit can get close and interact energetically with you in a way that you sense as if somebody would be touching your physical body. Why? Because you are so close to the physical body, and that energy, that non-physical touch is so conscious to you, you are so much aware of it, that it feels like a physical touch. This absolutely can happen, okay? Thank you. Thank you, Juliet. Thank you, guys. So I have here Davide. How are you, David? What is the best moment to practice velo in order to induce an OBE? At the beginning of the night or after a few hours of sleep? It depends on the person. But what I think works very well is practicing velo a few times throughout the day, because you create a greater loosening of your energy body. When you go to bed, it's halfway through in terms of the energetic condition to leave the body. Then you do a velo technique while you are super relaxed before falling asleep. Before. In the middle of the night, only if you are going to, for example, say, I'm going to set up my alarm clock, or I woke up anyway and I want to do a break in my night so that I invest here the time, my time and my effort to have an OBE. So you create a break in your night for an OBE. Because when you do a velo to leave the body, that is going to change your energies in different ways, all positive ways. But for some people, it may bring them back to their bodies more, like becomes them more aware here, and then the OB will happen. Depending on how you are when you wake up in the middle of the night, it's better to use different techniques than the velo. But if one would wake up in the middle of the night and the energies are kind of stuck, and especially there is like too many thoughts in one's mind and the feeling is not good, by all means, velo. Velo will help one fall asleep in this case. Why? Velo would be adjusting something that is not well adjusted. So helps fall asleep and gives the person a chance to leave the body. But if the energies are already well adjusted and half out and absolutely loose, you do velo, you may reconnecting to your body, not in a definite way. You do velo, you will go back to that point. So if I would give you a safe answer that is kind of for every case, I would say do it during the day a couple of times. Make sure you don't have to do for a very long time, but make sure you really push your energies down and up. I do not know how you are familiar now with the sense of your energy flowing. Sense is something that sometimes is so different when we are talking about energy. Not necessarily you will sense in your body, but you know you are moving your energy. And you can see the results, the difference it produces in your energy body. If you are at the point that you can identify that, do it 2 or 3 times during the day, even if it's short. By short, I mean 8, 9, 10, 12 minutes. I don't mean 2 minutes. Those who do for 2 minutes is better than nothing. But it's the same of saying, well, I drink 300 mils or half a liter of water per day. Better than no water. But it may not be enough. Okay? So I would say during the day, it will help. We will anticipate some process. Anticipate, I mean, take care of them in advance. And before going to bed. Before or immediately as you go to bed. This is my advice to be on the safe side. I hope you understood all of the different angles I tried to bring there. Thank you. Mito, how are you doing? Nancy, it's easier for a young guy to have an OBE experience than one over 60 men like me now, as I had spontaneous OBEs at my 20-25 years quite often, but then getting older OBEs reduced a lot. So, absolutely yes. The period, statistically speaking, in terms of all of the different research done, the period with highest predisposition to leave the body seems to go until like 19 years old, 20, 23 for some people. Why? That's a good question. And my best answer, based on everything I know about OBE, the many different research I did, and also based on my experience, and especially based on how energy work in connecting the astral body with one's physical body, my best answer is it's more here than an actual mechanical situation. Because when one is 19, we have problems. And maybe sometimes we are in a even more difficult phase of our lives than later on. Absolutely. However, the worries are usually about that moment. What's wrong in that moment? As we get older, we have to work, we have to pay the bills, we have to do our income tax, we have to decide what we are going to do about our jobs, our houses, we move, we don't move, which friends we keep, we don't. Those are bigger decisions that connect us or would connect your energy to so many different people, so many different areas of life, so many different projects in your mind, so many different angles that automatically, at the moment that the out of body experiences start to happen, what should be a very focused mind, focused on what? This is what's going on and I'm going out. We have, yes, this is what's going on, I want to go out, but our energy is still a little bit laced, connected, tied with that problem, with that project, with our retirement, with, don't know, a son, a daughter, a child that we want to see or that we are missing or whatever. That creates a condition that is starting in here but reflects in the energy. The energy starts to getting like dissipated and is into many different realms of reality, but in this case, I'm not talking about actual dimensions, planes, worlds. I'm talking about realms of reality one inside oneself. And with all of my observations and cases I have studied and everything, I think this is the main factor. If you were to change your life and say, you know what, now I'm going to be only enjoying thinking how I'm going to go to the beach in the morning and I have nothing else to worry about, in 6 months your out of body experience would be back. Now, the great wisdom that we must have and we must learn. How can each of us be able to have that internal attitude whilst externally it's not necessarily the reality, because we have many commitments and many things, and we have a baggage in terms of everything we have experienced. It's in our minds, it's in our memory, it's marked in our energies emotionally and mentally and energetically. But how can we create that attitude inside? At the same time, we have all of this more complex life. That is the key. And I know that is not so easy to reach because it's almost like the challenge is oneself. It's not something external. But with conditioning, training, but I don't mean training because there is one technique. Training means little by little progressing into that, creating conditions for that. Today, earlier here in our talk, somebody asked, is it possible to leave the body during meditation? I said, yes. Why? Because usually during meditation, what people do? Abstract themselves from everything around, forget everything, I'll just focus on myself. That is the most common type of meditation, which is not inducive of me because it's one looking at oneself. But on the other hand, is the moment that the person disconnect their energies with all of these many different realms of reality, as I said, that is around. So, how could you get closer to that? See what in your case would work for you. And the other thing is younger people, and now it's a more mechanical aspect of it, the energy body is less rooted in the physical body. The younger the person, and that's why kids have so much more predisposition and easy to experience not only out of body experience, but clairvoyance, sense presences, and use intuition. Most of the kids have this in a good degree. And when we compare each person as a kid and as an adult, in my experience, the great majority, we will find out that they were more sensitive as a kid for a very specific reason. Because we are newly connected to that physical body, so we just attached the energy that is attaching the two bodies, so us as an essence in our spirit body, in our astral body, connected then with the physical body. The connection at the beginning is more with the astral body. It's less rooted. But we get older, we have the structure, the genetics, the DNA of our bodies, and then our energetic DNA, the energy code we have in our energy body starts being connected more and more with the physical body. So some of these experiences become much more difficult. I am 60-year-old as well. And if I remember of my experiences when I were 12, I could leave the body sitting down in the living room if I wanted to. Many times I wouldn't because I was not sure if that would be problematic. But I could detach my legs, my hands, I could turn my body. Now, yes, I can do 1/20th of that with much more difficulty. So that's a very good question. Understanding the mechanism, not only of the out-of-body experience, but us as individual beings, as consciousnesses inhabiting this body and the phases and different challenges we have. So consider all of these aspects, and the more you can do value, the more you can understand the out-of-body experience, and the more you can operate with your energy lucidly, with controlled, with mastering your energy, the more you will go closer to that moment when you had more out-of-body experience, more frequently and probably easier, and sometimes even with more lucidity, right? Very good. Thank you. Very interesting question. Thanks a lot. And then John said, I had the same questions. Nice, John. So here we are exploring that, right? Interesting. And then I have Jesus is Lord. Hello, welcome here. Does taking choline for memory help you remember OBs? Usually only if there was a real condition, I mean, physical condition, brain condition, sometimes even a lack of some vitamin that will affect memory in the physical body. Yes, that can make a difference to remember OBs. But in most of the cases, what is the factor that makes it difficult for us to remember is not the brain, is the level of lucidity we had out there and how we re-enter the body. How we re-enter the body. The best is, we have a bird here in the other room, you see? He was singing in the beginning and now he's there playing. Now, the greatest challenge I was saying is being lucid there and returning saying, okay, I am returning to my body now and I will wake up as soon as I come back. Because when we re-enter, but we don't wake up immediately, we have other dreams, we have other experiences, and then we lose track of what happened there because the out-of-body experience was enjoyed without the physical brain. So we are not only having to remember something as if we are remember what we did yesterday. We have to remember something that first we need to transfer, to download from our non-physical brain, the brain of the astral body, kind of saying our awareness there, here into the engrams of the physical brain, and then make sense of that information, put words there, because without words we don't even think of that. This is how we think here in the physical world. So some recollection, some experiences we had, they may be so advanced, so abstract. Like in 2 minutes here, you experienced 5 hours there. How do we bring this to this moment, to this body? We need to organize that and put some words. So there are several strategies that one can use to improve recollection. So taking care, like with choline or any other maybe supplement that the person would need, is helpful. But usually that's not what's causing the lack of recollection. Okay? Hope this addressed the point there. John, recently I said something with my physical mouth, but no time delay. I heard it looking back at my body from 10 feet away a few seconds later. Is that normal? That is normal, but not common. It's not something that people experience very frequently, but that absolutely can happen. And there are two different phenomena that can more easily explain that amongst the different possibilities. One is what is called a, let me find here the word in English. There is a technical name. Anyways, it's like your energy body, like your etheric body, detach a bit. So you sense yourself there, you see yourself there. At the same time, you are still connected to your physical body. In connection to this, sometimes what happens is that the person would have, let's say, be so close to the physical body that the person could be sensing both at the same time. Some experiences we are so close that you hear the physical noises and you hear the non-physical noises, the noises that are happening in the astral dimension at the same time. And there is another phenomena there that can also address this or explain this that you experience, which is the instant projection. You are there trying to leave the body. In a flash, bam, you are out and you are back. So, which of them is it? There is one more. Mediumship. Like you slightly get out of your body and then someone else comes and gives you an intuition of saying a word. And then it becomes a mix of being you there, but you are at the same time far away. So you have to analyze what is behind each of these different possibilities of phenomena that I mentioned here, so that you can identify in your case which is the most probable explanations, and still there are other phenomena, but less probable. But I think it's a very interesting thing. I have had a similar thing. Once I was probably around 6 years old, and I was riding like a, how would I get, one of those old cars, like a Jeep, that it's open outside, so children would sit on the bench that were on the side, on the truck there, and I fell. I fell on the street from the back of the car there. And at that moment, I saw my body falling from above. I saw it. And it was so confusing to me. How could I see my fall from a different perspective? Sometimes, at the moment that such an event is happening, we detach from the body unconsciously. I mean, we know we experience it consciously, but it was not at will. That's what I meant. So spontaneously. Many people who had accidents, they will remember themselves seeing the accident from a different perspective. Because this sort of instant projection, instant out-of-body experience can happen in moments of very impactful situations, such as an accident, for example. So, different things for you to explore there, right? Okay, guys, I am going to pick one question more. randomly here from someone who I have not talked with today yet, so that we can finalize. Hi, Awo. I hope I'm pronouncing correctly your name. Awo. Interesting. Interesting sound for me. I did value in a dream. Wonderful. And with cycle of energy movements, I felt intense vibration through my body. Is it possible to produce the vibrational state through velo while outside the body? Yes, it's possible. It's much, much, much easier than producing it here with the physical body, because the vibrational state happens in the energy body, happens with the energy. But sensing that here in this dense body, it's almost like we are funneling the intensity of the experience. When you are outside the body, energy operates more freely, more easily. We have greater control, less obstacles. And when and if we reach a vibrational state, we sense that much more vividly, and it comes much more easily. Wonderful. I'm so glad you brought this experience here. For those of you who are interested in going deeper into the out of body experience, I recommend the Consciousness Development Program. I want to make sure I say this because people join at different moments here our talk. This will cover all of the different aspects, all of the different questions you would have about the out of body experience. I navigate the world of studying phenomena, spiritual phenomena, especially the out-of-body experience. I have been to so many conferences. I have spoken with so many people. I have individually, like in a one-to-one session, helped, mentored so many people. No program that I know of go as deep and at the same time as encompassing as the consciousness development program. With no false modesty, I was a very strong hand in creating this program, planning it, putting together the strategies that are there. But this is not my course, okay? That is International Academy of Consciousness's course I created for the IAC. So that's what it is. If you want, I have again put the link there for you so you can enjoy it now from today onwards with a discount until the end of the month. Go there immediately and enjoy it. That is the best to do. And I see I had a couple of questions more. I don't think I will be able to go ahead today. I am in a friend's house in Miami. And I just arrived here like a week, 10 days ago. And then I'm leaving again in 1 week. And this life of going from places to places so often does not help much the out of body experience. At least not one that you have them frequently in a series. In some places, I would have so many more than in other places. That's it. That's how we learn. This is investigation. You want to control your out of body experience and have more experience at will. Investigate your energy. Investigate your astral body. Investigate the energetic relations you have and connections, the multidimensional relationships, and find out what is the perfect strategy for you. And what I recommend for this is that you understand how the out of body experience works, what you can do out there, not only to be more lucid, but when you are lucid, to know how to act and react in certain situations so that you are not caught out of surprise. The out of body experience is not dangerous, but some people may have experiences that are not very nice. Don't think, it's because I tried to leave the body. No, because most people who have experience not nice, it's spontaneous though. They didn't try to leave the body. And some of you who are watching me now, maybe you remember, I had one experience that was a very strange feeling. Spontaneous one. That's it. When you gain control, you don't become more vulnerable. On the contrary, you decide what to do and you reduce a lot any energetic interaction that you would have that is negative. You have much less nightmares. As if something happens while you are falling asleep or you are asleep, you react, you know how to react, you know how to be lucid, you gain much more control. I'm saying this because some people, they are afraid. And if they are afraid of the out-of-body experience and they have the wrong understanding of what is the astral reality about, how it works, then how can that individual have a lucid out-of-body experience, a controlled out-of-body experience? So, okay, be brave, study, but especially have your own experiences. Go for the moment when you feel you are detaching. Learn by yourself as well. And more you'll be able to gain more control, more awareness, and have more out-of-body experiences. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being with me. I will do my best to be with you in a week time, but I will let you know I need to adjust my schedule. But I look forward to being with you again and answering all your questions. And by the way, I must say this, I love my community here, especially in this channel, because it's so productive, our thoughts, our talks. The questions are deep, well thought, very polite, our interactions. Few people can say this I'm saying, but that is absolutely the case for us here. So here it goes for all of us. Thank you. Goodbye. Enjoy your rest of your Sunday, the rest of your Sunday. Have wonderful out-of-body experiences. Practice your velo and dare to have new adventures. Goodbye, guys. Thank you.